What's going on? It's your boy Wally, aka Mr. Music is My Business. We are live from the Midwest Music Expo. I have the keynote speaker, the special guest of the night, Wendy Day.
You know I came here to meet you, right?
Yes, yes. And for the records, just so they know, came to meet me. I don't know, it's really hard where to start. I mean, 30 plus years in the business.
Yeah, 32.
32 years. Cash Money, it's one of the biggest labels, one of the best deals. To No Limit, to Nas, Tupac,
Not
one
Nas,
of my favorite
Tupac,
artists.
Eminem, David Banner, Trouble, Little Donald.
Everybody.
I worked with a lot of really great artists. I've been really fortunate. I have a really good career. I've worked with Young Buck. I've worked with Lil Russell.
What's your secret? What do you think
I'm
it
cool
is?
as fuck.
I,
No, seriously, my secret is that I'm comfortable being uncomfortable. That's really my secret.
Right. I learned so much, Jules, today.
Thank you. I'm so glad. Like, for me, I just work. Like, we were joking before the cameras started rolling that he's been doing this 22 years. I've been doing it 32, and we've never met each other. And it's because I don't really go out and hang out. Like, I'm a workaholic. I work. I have blinders on. I don't really. You said I'm about Bigfoot, which is really funny. I do exist. It's true. I just don't really hang out at industry stuff. I just work. And I think that might be my secret.
It sounds like
I
it.
just get the work done. You do too.
That's
though.
it. Yeah, I just kind of
your brand
sit
is
and
awesome.
focus. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
You've heard of Urban Grind before?
Yes.
Oh, see that?
How
You
have
got
I
that.
not?
I really appreciate that. That's that's what we strive for. It was to create a platform here in Chicago for independent as well as major artists to get on, be seen, be heard amongst the stars.
Yes.
Because everybody starts out somewhere.
Everybody starts out somewhere. Everybody I've ever worked with weren't famous when I started with them. Like Eminem was not famous.
Right.
The Cash Money guys, a little bit of fame, but not really. They were selling like 5,000 to 25,000 CDs in New Orleans. So everybody starts somewhere, but you got to build your fan base one at a time, you know?
Right. So what do you look for when you're picking on new talent, new project? Obviously, they got to have a budget.
Yeah, they have to have a budget because I can't do this without it.
Exactly.
Like, I've tried. Like, I've banged my head against the wall trying to help people get on with no money, and it's I
impossible.
Can't do it.
Right.
Yeah.
So what do you look for?
I look for talent first, and I really look for work ethic. Like, if somebody has the right work ethic and they're really like doing well for themselves, not well, but like working for themselves and really like just doing as much as they can, where I can just step in and use my connections and my knowledge. That's really what I look for. I don't want somebody to come on board and then kick back and say, okay, wake me when I'm famous. I don't want that.
They want you to do the work.
Yeah,
I don't can't want it more. You can't want it more than they do.
Them. Yes,
that's what I tell them all the time.
Exactly. Yeah.
I've been talking to people recently about the music industry versus the music business.
Right.
And I tell them the music industry will keep you poor.
It will.
And it'll keep you doing favors
if you're chasing
and helping
fame.
out. Right. Where the music business says, you know what, I do this, but this is my fee.
Yes.
Respectfully.
And you've got it respectfully, and you've got to invest in yourself, or you have to have an investor who's willing to invest in you. It's not a free industry. It's never been a free industry. And you have to really put in the work. It's like having 12 jobs, you know?
Yes.
You have like 12 jobs.
I do it all.
I do too, yeah.
Law degree, build the websites, interview, host, edit, whatever it takes.
You got to do it all. And it's the reality of the music business.
Now, I use the acronym MEDIA, and I talked about motivation.
I love that.
Do you?
I love that.
I appreciate that.
And you came in right at 7 minutes.
Yes.
That
Thank
was
you.
awesome.
Thank you.
I caught that.
Thank you.
I'm
I appreciate
he's been practicing.
I
this.
really you put the pressure on me.
I did.
You did.
You had to step it up a
yes,
notch.
I said I got to
it.
step, and she's in the front row.
Oh yeah,
so
I was
it's
in the
like
front row.
she was in the front. So I'm like, I really got to put on. I got to do it, and I talk about motivation because motivation.
I have
thank
pictures of you, by the way. I'll
Thank
send them
you.
to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, happy to.
What keeps you motivated? Like, what is your motivation? It's 30 plus years. It's not money. It doesn't sound financial.
No, it's not money at all.
What is it? Is it leaving the legacy of the rap coalition?
No, because I've already got the legacy.
Right.
Like,
so what is it now?
I would have stopped. Really, the difference that I'm making in so many lives, like that's what drives me. I really give a shit about artists, and I want to help as many artists as I can before I die. It's sort of like a challenge. Now, you know,
it's a legacy.
It's more than legacy. It's I get to help build generational wealth for artists so that they will not be broke. Their children's children will not be.
Right.
And I think that's what drives me more than anything.
Now, I mentioned education on the acronym too. How important is it that, I mean, you got 2-3 degrees.
Yeah.
You went
I'm
back.
always learning.
Exactly. So even through all these big deals, I want the people at home to hear this.
Okay.
You were still going back to school. You were still pursuing
I'm
education.
in school now. Like
You're in school now.
Yeah.
What are you taking?
I'm learning to speak Spanish. I'm learning finance. Like, I'm always taking a class. I'm also very artistic, as opposed to autistic. I'm artistic. So I'm taking ceramics classes. I'm taking glass classes. Like, I keep happy through learning stuff. I read a book a week. I wasn't joking when I said that. Like, that's how I spend my free time. I'm really quite the nerd.
No, the smart people.
But I
Look,
love it.
the people that get the bag are the ones that understand the business side of the industry.
And not only do I learn, but I apply. Like, I was in a class in Dallas last weekend learning all about finance so that I could read spreadsheets, and when my accountant breaks shit down to me, I get it. Like, I really understand it.
I come from a pretty humble background. There's a reason I'm telling you this. I come from a very lower class background, and my family was pretty poor in the suburbs of Philadelphia. And my parents moved to the very edge of a wealthy Jewish neighborhood, and we were poor and Christian. And there's really a reason for me telling you this. I promise I'll get to it. See, I can't do this 7-minute shit. It doesn't work for me. But I got really comfortable being the outsider. I got very comfortable not fitting in. I got very comfortable being different. And I think that's actually the secret to my success. I'm very comfortable being uncomfortable. I'm really comfortable right now. And I hate public speaking, and when Martin asked, when the room isn't shy, I'm the only one that didn't put up my hand because I'm very shy and extroverted introvert. But all that to say, I didn't work in music right away because I was on a path where I wanted to make money. That's what was important to me when I was in my early 20s. I was the friend that took all of her friends to the Caribbean on weekends and wasted money in droves. But I realized in the late 80s that didn't make me happy. So I did some soul searching, which I do often. And I decided that I wanted to help people make money. I have an undergraduate degree in graphic design. I have a master's degree in African American Studies from Temple University, which is an Afrocentric program, and I'm really proud of that. And then I have an MBA. So I wanted to do something where I could combine my degree in AFAM Studies, my creativity, and my marketing sense. And I realized that the way out of the struggle for people of color was through entrepreneurship. If people could make money for themselves, it wouldn't matter how anybody else felt about them. So when I got into the music industry, and again, I came to this as a fan, so the culture really mattered to me. It still does all these years later. But I realized that if I could help artists make money with their music, then they could get out of the struggle and they could build generational wealth. And since I really cared about hip hop, that was important to me. It still is today. So I started by pulling people out of bad deals. And then after a few years of that, I realized that just pulling people out of bad deals wasn't enough. I wanted to help people stay independent, build leverage, and if they were going to do a record deal, they could get into a really great deal. So I came to Chicago, and I worked with Do or Die, I worked with Twista, I worked with some artists here in the city that I really loved their music and felt like the Midwest had something to say.
Yeah, we do.
And still do. That's real. After building some amazing relationships throughout the Midwest, I went to New Orleans and I found a label called Cash Money. They had put out 31 CDs. This is back when CDs were still a thing, right?
Yeah.
They had put out 31 CDs over a 6-year period, which was amazing. And they had sold between 5,000 and 25,000 units on each CD they put out. And I couldn't believe that a major label hadn't found them yet. that was so foreign to me. But because they had leverage, I sat down with them, we put out a project together and got their numbers up to 75,000. And I'm very thankful because it's my base in the Midwest that allowed me to help them to do that. We put together a business plan. They kind of looked like IBM, which is really funny because if you had seen what a shit show it really was. And Universal fell for it. And they saw what the guys had going on. Our first offer was for $75,000 just for Juvenile. They let me say no for 9 months. That's really the secret to their success. They didn't jump for the okie doke, and I'm thankful because I wanted to help them build generational wealth. The last offer that they got, which is the deal that they got, was for a $30 million deal over a 3-year period. They got to keep their masters. They got to keep 100% of their publishing. I'm so proud of this deal. And there was a clause in the contract where Universal, they could use any of the services that they wanted from Universal. It was an 80-20 split. But they could go outside of Universal and utilize any services they wanted. But the part that I'm proud of is in the contract it stipulated any services that they used from Universal, their staff had to teach Cash Money staff how to do the job. And that was unheard of, right? I did the deal with my attorney, Peter Thea. It was just us two, it was great. And I say that because I helped do the Master P deal and there were 6 people involved and it was a nightmare because it was constant arguing and infighting. For the team, we couldn't really agree on what that deal should be. And by the way, that was an 80-20 split as well. But that was an 80-20 split, not only because he had leverage, but because Brian Turner at Priority didn't think hip hop would take it this far. Right?
The gag.
Yeah, he thought it was a fad. That's the word he used. He said it was a fad. I went to the 50th anniversary of hip hop in November. Yeah, it was an 8-hour concert because it's a fad.
Right.
I should have brought Brian Turner with me, right? But happily, once I was able to do the Cash Money deal, it enabled me to do some stuff that was really important to me. And I've done some other cool stuff. I got to work with Tupac before he passed. I got to do Rap Olympics, which is what put Eminem on. So I've really been blessed. I've really done some cool shit in the music industry. But nothing matters to me as much as helping artists put out their own music and make money with their music so that they don't have to answer to anybody but themselves. And I think that's why I have so much passion for what Martin does, because he teaches you guys how to make money with your music. He teaches you all the ancillary stuff. So when he asked me what I want to talk about for longer than 7 minutes, I said that I wanted to talk about how we make money in music because it changes constantly, right? It changes every few years. And I'm very fortunate. I'm going to turn 62 years old in, right? It fucks me up. A minute ago, I was 16. Where did that go? Right? So in August, I'm going to turn 62, and I remember, when I started in the music industry, I was 30 years old, and I remember, and that was old, by the way, 30 in music was really old in 1992, and I thought, I've got 5 years. I got 5 years. I'm going to come into the music industry. I'm going to change everything for rap, on the business side, and then I'm going to go into corporate America and make $1 bazillion, and my life will be perfect. And 32 years later, here I still am. But I'm thankful.
Was there any artist that broke that maybe you passed on or you really didn't see it coming that surprised you?
Slim Thug.
Slim Thug.
Yeah, he's the one that got away. I always wanted to negotiate a deal for him, and didn't get a chance to. But yeah, I miss like Wu-Tang. When Wu-Tang dropped, I didn't like when I heard the music. I'm like, oh, music is so polished now. This will be a hard sell.
Surprising.
Yeah.
So you never know.
You never know.
You never know.
Yeah, you
It's
never
really
know.
a gamble.
It's about who the audience likes, and that's what I look for. I don't look for whether I like something, or even if you like something. If you send me something and say I really like this, that's great. But to the fans, that's what matters.
Yes.
Like who's following them, and actually supporting them financially. Like who's buying music, who's streaming their music, who's buying merch. Like that's what I look at.
I'm glad that people talked about how the time now is like it's a different time in the business.
Way different.
Do you think you could have did what you did if you would have started today in 2024? Given the technology and just the difference?
Probably, because I learn how things work and then I apply it. And I think I would always do that. You know,
Right.
like I learned how CDs worked and then did that. And then I learned how downloads worked and did that. Then I learned how streaming worked and did that. Now I'm learning how the tech side of it works and I'm doing that. You know, building community.
Right.
So I think I would.
Yeah.
I think I would. I hope I would.
It's different, but you'd have
It's
to go
always
about it
different.
totally different.
It's always different.
That's
It's
where
always
innovation
growing.
comes in.
Yes, and it changes every 6 months, 6 to 9 months. It changes. Remember how hot TikTok was
Yes.
a year ago? Now it's community. It's building community. So it's always growing and always changing. You have to be on that cutting edge. You have to know what's coming, or you're going to get left behind.
Is there any artist that you turned down that, you know, maybe you don't got to say a name? Is there anyone that turned down? And
Oh, yeah, I turn
what
people
kind of
down all the
reason-
time.
What kind of reasons do you say, hey, you know what, this
Work
isn't-
ethic or money. If they don't have the money to really invest in their own career. I've tried doing this for free. It doesn't work.
Well, especially like people really don't understand the value if you give it to them for free.
You know, I never really thought about that, but that's true.
Absolutely.
That's true.
You know-
If it's free, then they think, oh, she doesn't respect herself. Fuck her.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I noticed.
Can I
like, if-
curse?
yeah.
Is that, okay, good.
I mean, if you want people to
I'm going.
believe in you and invest in you, then
Right.
you got to invest in yourself.
You have to. I invest in myself.
Absolutely.
So
What's next? I mean, you've conquered so
Um,
much stuff.
I have another.
What's
I have
the
another
future?
podcast coming. I have a podcast now called The Cheat Code.
Nice.
With two friends. It's Ferrari Simmons and Kingpin, and we sit around talking shit about the music industry. It's a lot of fun. And then I have an interview series called No Standing Zone, and I'm going into the industry and interviewing people
Nice.
like your age and younger.
I'm ready.
About how they.
I'm gonna be
Come
there.
on.
I'm
Come
gonna
on.
be there. I'm ready.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
I would love to.
Let's do it. And then I also have an educational. Wow, those birds are crazy, right?
Yes.
I have an educational series coming on TikTok, which is going to
Nice.
be a lot of fun. Where I'm going to just, and it's hard for me to do anything like in small bites, like short. Oh,
Right.
that's hard. But I'm giving small bits of information, like a minute, 2 minutes.
Digestible.
Yeah.
I think people that
Oh,
they
it's
can't
hard.
handle anything
Oh my God,
unless you give
no.
them small bites.
Because my videos are like 17 minutes long, 20 minutes long.
Short attention span though.
Yeah,
Nowadays.
so I'm doing it like bam, 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 and that's hard for me because I can't talk fast. Like I can't.
I see it. You're like, I'm
Man,
not
it's
doing the
hard.
timer.
I can't do that.
Too much
7 minutes.
pressure.
I don't know how you did it.
Right.
I don't know how you did
I
that.
time myself a lot.
Yeah, that's
So-
good.
So I got my team
That's
right here.
good.
The team, they've been with me. You know, John's over a decade, and we have some
Oh,
newer
that's
people.
awesome.
How important is it to have a team in this industry?
Loyalty and a team is really important. A
Loyalty's
team
big.
is everything. Just make sure your team is people that are growing you forward and not holding you back. And I say that because people sometimes confuse loyalty. You can be loyal to a fault. You can't be loyal to somebody that's hurting you or somebody that's holding you back.
Yes.
If somebody really loves you, they'll let you go and they'll let you grow without them. You know, and I think that's important.
That's amazing. So we went through like kind of the motivation, the education, the dedication. Now innovation.
Any
Is
more
there-
shuns?
Huh?
You should have some more
Yeah,
shuns.
right.
Yeah.
Right. I'm
Dedication.
using my media acronym.
I love that.
So-
I love that. Oh, you sure?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm using the
Okay.
acronym. So like
Okay.
to
My
innovate,
nose
what
is
does that
running,
mean
I'm
to
sorry.
you? No, you're good. I'm
It's
cold.
it's
I'm
cold as
shaking.
fuck out
If
here.
they see me.
It's cold. It's cold.
cold.
It's cold. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So, to you, what is innovation? What do you think's been one of the greatest innovations?
The internet is
The
the
internet.
greatest, hands down, the greatest innovation because not only is it innovative for listening to music, but it's innovative for marketing and promoting music as well.
Now, what do you think's one of the challenges that comes along with the internet?
Content is probably the biggest for my clients. Content, because people don't know what to shoot, they don't know what to say, they second guess everything. They're perfectionists. They think, oh my God, you know, this isn't good enough, or I look too thin, I look too fat, I'm too tall, I'm too short. If people would stop second guessing themselves, it would be awesome.
So, I mean, you have a million collaborations. I can only imagine what your telephone book looks like. Your Rolodex.
1,700. Somebody asked me this.
1,700.
Yeah,
1,700 names.
in my iPhone. Yes. Somebody just asked me this the other day. How many phone numbers do you have in your iPhone? So I went in. It's 1,742.
Wow.
That's a lot, right?
Yes. That's
I also
tremendous.
have dead people in there. I still have Pimp C's phone number.
Wow.
Yeah. I still
Isn't that
have
beautiful though, like kind
yeah,
of memories that you
it's
take?
memories. Yeah. Yes.
Do you have now? Is there a favorite memory you can share with us here on Urban Grind TV?
Let me give you something that I haven't really shared with anybody else.
Exclusive.
Okay, so David Banner. When I was working with David Banner, we were going to he was with a group called Crooked Letters, and they were gonna open for UGK, and we were headed from. I think we were in Memphis, and we were heading to Jackson, Mississippi, and the car in front of us hit a deer. And the deer was struggling in the road, and I had my pistol with me, so I made the driver pull over, and I said, I'm gonna go shoot this deer so it's not
Suffering.
yeah, because it was fucked up, and I knew it was gonna die. I just didn't want it to die slowly, and he would not let me shoot the deer. He took the pistol out of my hand and he shot the deer.
He didn't want you to do it.
No, he didn't want me to do it, and I loved him for that because I didn't want to do it either.
You didn't want to do it.
I didn't want to do it either, but. I didn't want it to suffer. It was more important to me to help the deer, and he took the gun out of my hand. He's like, boom, and I'm like, I love you for that. I've never told that story.
That's beautiful.
I've never told that story.
That.
Yeah.
What year do you think this was? Circle what?
2000 ish, 99, 2000.
99.
Yeah.
Them road trips obviously on the road.
In the middle of nowhere.
People make ton of memories.
Yeah.
A ton of stuff. Is there
We were
any
on
scary
promo
moments
tour.
you ran into on the road?
Oh, many. I probably wouldn't share anything here.
Yes.
But yeah, there's been a lot of scary shit that's happened. It's hip hop.
So how many people here are artists? Awesome. You're the folks that I'm really talking to. Songwriters? Okay. And then people that work in the music industry. Yeah, and I'm gonna let y'all in on some secrets here so that you can make money. All I ask is that you don't pimp out the artists. Let everybody make some money too, right? That's all I ask. So you've probably heard me speak about the 5-hour driving radius, so I'll cover that because it still matters. We work digitally online. We test all music now, and the way that we test the music is we pick 5 songs or 6 songs that the artist has. We make 1.5-minute videos. All 5 of the videos are almost exactly the same. We try to make them as boring as possible, and hear me out, this is why we do it. It's usually the artist driving in a car, rapping along. I work with rappers, so I'm gonna make it kind of rap friendly. Y'all can insert whatever it is that you do into this, right? So in each video, it's the artist either in the studio rapping the lyrics for 1.5 minutes, or it's them driving in a car rapping the lyrics for 1.5 minutes. But of these 5 or 6 songs, all of the videos are kind of the same. And the reason I want them to be as boring as possible is because I'm gonna go in, we're gonna spend $100 on each song, and depending on the market of the artist, it's either Facebook or Instagram usually. Instagram more than Facebook, because I work with younger artists. And we then focus on, I go into the dashboard and focus on how many people stayed 50% of the time, how many stayed 75% of the time, and how many stayed 95% of the time. Because the statistics tell me that. And I really look at how many people shared the content. Remember, the video is boring as hell. It's just somebody rapping either in a car or in a studio. So if somebody stays on a 1.5 minute song for 95% of the time, that tells me they kind of like the song.
Right.
You know, they didn't stay for the video, I promise. It's boring. It's real boring. And it gives me the opportunity to compare 5 or 6 songs because it's kind of the same video. So it's not like somebody says, oh, this video is better than that one, I'm gonna watch it all the way through. I look at the comments, I don't care if they're positive or negative. I'd rather have somebody be one extreme or the other. For me, negative comments are not the enemy, apathy is. When somebody doesn't care, that's a problem. If somebody says, wow, this is whack, I'm such a better artist, or geez, this guy's no Drake, I love that because it tells me they cared enough to spend some time typing a comment on the world's most boring video. Right? So they usually, when you're spending about $100, you're getting about 22,000 views. Of those 22,000 views, by the time you're looking at 50%, 75%, and 95%, and I don't look at 100% because somebody could just be burning up the video, could be playing and they're talking to somebody else. So if it stopped at 100%, it means it went all the way through. But if it stopped at 95%, they probably watched it almost to the end and realized it was stopping, and then they stopped it. So we'll be able to see anywhere from 1,000 views that made it all the way through to 95% down to about 200. We still put out all of those songs because it's the artist's babies in a way. It's their creations. But I now know which ones to spend the most money on, and I know the order that I'm going to drop them in. I'm going to drop the strongest the strongest song first. And we drop a lot of music. We flood the market. We drop a song one week, a music video to it the next week, a song the next week, a video the next week, a song. I got that from Kanye. Do you remember when he used to drop every Friday? That shit still works. I don't drop on Fridays though, because everybody else does. We'll drop Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. And because we're flooding the market, after a while, people will realize, oh shit, they're dropping every Tuesday. Let me go see what they're dropping. It takes a while for that to work because it's the repetition, right? But after a while, people will start to seek out your music and your video. And it's the consistency that builds careers. Can I say that again? It's the consistency that builds careers. I'm watching people drop a song every 2 or 3 months and working the same song, and it makes me sad because it's not that world anymore. We drop 22 songs a year. For the really young artists that I work with, we don't even put out music videos anymore, it's all content. And we treat songs like content, and it breaks my heart to say that, but that's what this world is. And if you want to make a living in this world, you gotta kind of do where the world is, right? You still need talent, you still have to be great, but you gotta have work ethic. And then after we work the artist digitally for 6 to 9 months, and it takes me about 1.5 years to break an artist, after 6 or 9 months, I put them out on the road. I don't want to put them out too soon because I don't want them to be in a situation where no one knows who they are. They've got to have a little bit of a buzz, but I also don't want the buzz to be so big that they have to take time off from paid shows to move around the country for free. So let me come back to that 5-hour driving radius because this really matters. It takes me a budget of $150,000 to do what I do. And I'm sorry if that's depressing, because I know not everybody has that kind of money. But we focus on that 5-hour driving radius because we only have $150,000, and it really takes a couple million to break an artist. So if you look at the major labels, they're breaking artists with $2, $3, $4 million, sometimes $7 million. We don't have that. So we have to really maximize that money. So we do a 5-hour driving radius. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, a 5-hour circle means you're driving 10 hours this way, 5 hours this way, 5 hours this way. It's a total of 10 hours. And if you have a show on a Friday, you can drive to a show on Saturday in 10 hours. If you have a show on a Friday in Miami, and you have a show on Saturday in Seattle, you can't drive that. It's just not possible. So you have to fly. And if you're spending money on flying, as a new artist, you're spending all your money. You know, it doesn't really make sense. So I chose the Southeast because that's the easiest area that I think for breaking artists. And the reason I say that, and I live in Atlanta, and I kind of moved to the South for this philosophy. I really moved to the South to help Jeezy set up his label, but I stayed. And the reason that I stayed there was because people in the South, especially in the smaller markets like Macon, Charlotte, Greenville, South Carolina, Columbus, Georgia, Columbia, South Carolina. People will go to see artists that they don't know and spend $10 or $20 to come in and see them. I'm a New Yorker. People don't spend money unless you're Jay-Z. They will not go see an unknown artist, even if it's free. They just won't go. In the South, people do. So I love breaking artists in the South. It's just a little bit easier. We can move them around. The cities are like an hour and a half apart. So I can move somebody around on a 14-day promo tour or a 21-day promo tour. We'll spend about 10 grand to do it, but they can see, touch, and feel people. And I think that's so important because it's kind of like running for office, right? To build a career.
Yes.
Yes.
You know?
So if you could give somebody advice that's either starting out, they've been in it maybe a decade, they're building their brand, they're building their following and their buzz. We captured some of the talk. What is some advice you can give them at home?
Learn as much as you can. Really learn as much as you can and question everything. Even if you're watching one of my videos, go do the research to make sure that what I'm saying is accurate, because there's so much misinformation out here and there's so many people that are teaching other people but they haven't done it themselves. So just question everything, even what I'm saying, even what he's saying. Go and prove to yourself that it's right, and then the stuff that's right, follow that and do what's best for you. Do more of what works and less of what doesn't.
That's so true.
Thank you for spending. Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
weren't
No,
done.
I
was
really
gonna cut you off,
appreciate
I
it.
didn't mean to.
No, I mean, that kind of builds on some of the stuff that I didn't put in the speech, but I talk about is you can't make money and excuses at the same time.
You can't.
And a lot of people
can't.
come with that. They'll have a
Yeah.
reason for everything why they can't make it,
Yeah.
or they fall into a victim mentality.
And I gotta tell you, like, and I can't speak for you, but for me, I'm not more intelligent than anybody else. I might outwork somebody, but this isn't rocket science. We're not operating on brains. We're not curing cancer. Like, anybody can really do this. You just have to be committed and dedicated and make good decisions.
Absolutely. Now, one thing I tell my team all the time is I say, look, 2 rules. Don't wait on them and don't hate on them. How
Correct.
important it is, how many artists have you seen or people that sat and waited on a deal, waited on an opportunity,
It doesn't happen.
and they missed out.
Yeah, it doesn't happen.
So
It doesn't happen.
timing is key.
Timing is key. You got to keep moving. A moving target doesn't get hit. So you got to keep going. And then in terms of like hating on other people, I believe in karma. And I think if you're a negative person and you're, looking at other people and you're kind of shitting on them, I don't think people like that really get ahead, because the envy is going to eat at them constantly and they're just not going to win.
This is true.
That's just my opinion.
I had a couple. I got the Wendy Day Danish.
Yeah, isn't that
What's
cool?
the background on that? Tell me the story.
So Martin decided that it would be cool if I had some Danish, and he did a play on words. I have a strain of weed coming, which is funny because I don't smoke weed, but I have a strain coming called Wendy Days, and I was telling him about it, and he's like, oh, play on words. I want to do Wendy Danish. Do you mind? I'm like, no, I don't mind. I didn't know he was really going to do it, though.
If Martin says he's going to do it, he's going to do it.
I'm like, this motherfucker really made Wendy Danish. I haven't eaten one yet.
He's a mad Danish. They're great. I got me a couple I put in my bag.
I have 3 in my bag. So
that's
dinner
right.
tonight?
Nice.
Yeah.
How long are you in town for?
Till tomorrow morning.
Nice. And then
Yep.
back out
to Atlanta. Yeah. I haven't been home very much, and I've got a new, as I mentioned, a new podcast coming and a new educational series. So I'm really trying to stay home a little bit more to bang
work
it out
on
and get
it.
it done. So I'll be home for probably the next month or so.
Nice.
Working.
Well, you've been amazing. I
Thank you
can't
for
tell
your
you what
time.
what a dream this is to interview you.
Thank you.
I've been trying to find you for a long time. I have a list. I always
That's
make
funny.
lists.
You can now cross
And
me
you're,
out.
I'm
You got
going to
me.
cross you out tonight.
I love it.
I really
love it.
appreciate it. And it was an honor
Thank
to speak
you.
in front of you.
Thank you. It
To
was
share my
it
stuff.
was incredible, because what you were saying was extremely important, and you followed the directions. You came in like right, and most people did, and I'm like, oh, he practiced. And that tells me everything I need to know about somebody. It's like you followed the directions, you came in on time, and you nailed it.
Well, I'm a military
Beautiful.
veteran, so I always believe in preparation.
Oh, that explains it.
Yes.
That explains
I'm
it.
always prepared.
That says it all, doesn't it? That
You
says
stay
it all.
ready. You don't got to get ready.
Exactly. You're
Man,
born ready. I love that.
Born ready.
I love that.
So thank you so much.
Thank you. Can I hug you?
Yes.
Thank you.
Please. Thank you. Oh, my God.
Thank you
a
so
legend
much.
in the business and
Thank
an
you.
amazing, sweet person. I can't tell you how many people I've met in this business. And I was a fan of their music, and I meet them, and I'm just like, oh,
Don't get me
man.
started.
And I'm
It's like-
sorely disappointed.
Oh, I'm so
Their
disappointed.
personality
Yeah.
can use a lot of work.
Yeah.
Some people from Chicago too. I'm not gonna keep no names, but you've met them.
That's real.
You've met them, and it's really disappointing because
Yeah.
you're supposed to be likable. We're in the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
And our job is to entertain and kind of like people.
It's hard to become a superstar like Drake level or Ed Sheeran level and be an asshole. It's
It
really
really is.
hard because people, when they don't want to work with you, they don't. Like
Exactly.
people really have to want to be around you. This is a people business.
I do music, media management, and distribution. And
Wow.
one thing I told artists before I get them, or if I'm gonna sign them, if I'm gonna do management, and I had the rule of South by Southwest. From Chicago to South by is about 14 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So my rule is if I can't sit in a car with you for 14 hours, I don't want to manage you.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we share, hotels, you share.
It's a
you know,
relationship.
airplanes. It is.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that's how my moniker
agree.
is now. It's like if I can't put up with this person for 14,
I never
I'm
thought
not gonna
about
work
that.
with
That's
them.
smart.
because of the travel.
Smart. Yeah.
Because of the
You're always
close
you're
proximity.
always with them. Yeah.
And you
That's
share so much stuff on the road. So many. You
Every-
get good news, you get bad news,
Yes.
everything in between.
Fist fights break out like it's
Yes, it
crazy
does.
being on the road.
So again, I just want to thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Your
Your team
speech
is
was
freezing.
amazing. It was so inspiring to hear somebody come out
Thank
there
you.
and just say it like it is.
Yeah.
You didn't give us anything sugar coated.
no
You didn't
bullshit.
say, "Oh, look, everybody can make
And
it."
everything I say, like I've done, like I don't speak on things I don't know. If I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know the answer to
Right.
that.
You didn't sit here and say, "Oh, look, you can make it with
No.
$1,000."
You cannot.
You can't have it.
I'm sorry. I've tried.
Exactly.
I've tried with 25 and I can't do it.
See,
And I'm
That's
sorry,
amazing.
but it's
invest in yourself.
it's not a free industry.
That's it. You got to invest in yourself, man. Again, I'm honored. Thank you. I got to thank Martin for coming out.
I love Martin.
Wendy Day. I'm gonna be tracking her down for
Come
her
on.
new show.
Come on.
I'm gonna be all in the DMs.
Come
So
on.
I'm gonna be at it. This is my new homie
love
Wendy
it.
Day. It's your boy Wally, aka Mr. Music is my business.
Yay.
You're watching Urban Grind TV. Let's go.
Hey, this is Wendy Day from Rap Coalition, and I am checking out Urban Grind TV, the bomb.